Go ahead and start. In the matter of the estate of William, is it Alfago or Alfago?
ELFAGO.
Elfago. Elfago Woodruff. This is an heirship determination in case number 2019 CPR 00036. Please announce.
Jessica Clute on behalf of Francis Haynes.
I'm Alvarado, Your Honor, on behalf of the known and unknown heirs.
Albert Beal here for Kirby Reed, the dependent administrator.
All right. And are we here for the heirship determination, Ms. Clute?
Yes, sir.
Okay, everybody that's going to testify, please raise your right hand. Do each of you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this case is the truth of the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I do, yes, Your Honor.
Call your applicant, Ms. Clute.
Ms. Haynes, will you please state your name and how you related to William Woodruff?
Yes, my name is Frances Fernandez Haynes, and I was his aunt. His late mother was my eldest sister.
And unfortunately, your nephew passed away on May 18th of 2018 here in El Paso, having a house here in El Paso. Is that right?
Yes.
And to the best of your knowledge, he did not have a will. Is that correct?
No, he did not.
And of course, you asked me because I did probate for him as well.
Yes.
I couldn't convince him, unfortunately. And your nephew was single and had no children and no siblings. Is that correct?
Right. He was an only child. My sister couldn't have any more children after him.
And there's no need to sell. I mean, there is a need to sell his home. Is that correct?
Yes, it's in very severe disrepair, and there are back taxes that are owed, and we can't pay the taxes without selling the house.
And the witnesses we have today are going to be able to help us with his maternal side of the family. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
And then we went ahead and obtained a private investigator to find the heirs on the paternal side of the family. So his grandfather's side of the family.
Right. My nephew, I don't think ever met his cousins on his father's side, and I'm not really sure if they even knew about him. So that's why we had to try to find them through an investigator.
I'm sorry, his father's side.
His father's side, yes.
Okay, I don't have any more questions of this witness, Your Honor.
Mr. Alvarado.
No questions of this witness, Your Honor.
All right, and for the record, we do have the MERP has been filed, the Atlanta filed, the waivers and service file, the certificate is on file. Mr. Alvarado, or do you have any, what state is the administration in, Mr. Bill, if you know?
You're muted, Mr. Beal.
Thank you. All we have is the house, and we're waiting for this determination to get an okay to sell the property, because one of the decedent's uncle is living in the house, and we want to make sure everybody was on board with what we do with the house. Of course, the house there is back taxes owed. It must be sold, but we just need some direction. And before we started today, I got the okay from Ms. Clute to begin the process of selling the house. That's all there is, Judge.
All right, well, as the administrators, you don't need authorizations to sell. You approach the court so that the property doesn't go into more disrepair, and then the taxes are not backlogged. So
we understand that, Judge, but there was the young man, the decedent's uncle was living in the house, and we were kind of forced to removing him, but he's on board now, so we can sell the house.
is he an heir?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, you could have filed a partition, or you could have filed, yeah. So, okay,
Understand.
all right, so Mr. Alvarado, call the first interested witness.
Your Honor, I would call Ronald Haynes.
Go ahead.
It's me.
Please state
Yes,
your
sir.
name for the record.
My name is Ronald Haynes. I am the applicant's husband.
Okay. So your relation to Mr. William Woodruff would have been, he would have been your nephew?
It had been my nephew marriage, that's correct.
And you and I had a chance to visit twice before this hearing, correct?
Yes, yes, sir.
And you relayed to me that you had a relationship with William Reader Woodruff and Irma Woodruff, would have been the decedent's parents, correct?
That's correct.
And that would have also been your wife's sister, correct?
That's correct.
And you had a close enough relationship with them that you were aware that they had one child, the subject of this hearing today.
That's correct. I met them in about 1978, right before my wife and I got married, and that's actually about when I actually met Willie also. And so I've known his parents and him for quite some time. They were part of our family for a long time.
So he was a minor at the time that you met him?
When I met him, he was a very young child. Yes, sir.
He was actually a ring bearer at your wedding, correct?
He was we had our wedding in El Paso near their house. He was a ring bearer at our wedding, and we actually had our wedding reception with my parents at his house.
And throughout the years, you kept a close relationship with the family. You would travel to El Paso for holidays?
That's correct. Around about that time, especially when my kids, later on after we had kids and they were young, we swapped back and forth. My family's in Louisiana. And so one year we would go to El Paso for Thanksgiving and Louisiana for Christmas. And the next year we would reverse it. So there was a period there almost every year that we went to El Paso, either during the holidays or spring break or summer or something. So yes, there was a relationship with them for many, many years.
And you also kept in contact with them through phone calls and whatnot throughout the year, not just during the holidays?
That's correct. My wife, would be in contact with her parents or even her sister sometimes. So, I wouldn't characterize it that we were always in contact, but I wouldn't characterize it as ever being out of touch.
Okay. And during those conversations, it came to your attention that William never married, correct?
That's correct.
You indicated to me that he did have a girlfriend when he was in college, but they never had any children, or they never lived together, correct?
Not to my knowledge. Actually, I think it was actually when he was in high school or maybe right after he graduated, and his mother basically stopped the relationship for whatever reason.
And he never served in the military, was ever out of the country?
Not that I know of.
Okay. So it's never come to your attention that he ever married or had any children?
No, sir, not to my knowledge.
Okay. In regards to the heirs that we're going to identify today, on the maternal side, Mother Irma Woodruff had 3 brothers and sisters, correct?
That's correct.
And it would be Antonio Fernandez III.
Yes, sir.
And it's my understanding that he is the one residing in the home.
That's correct.
And then Farah Olivia Jones.
Yes, sir.
And Frances Fernandez Haynes, who would be your wife, correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Okay. Any other heirs from the maternal side that we have not named today?
None that I know of.
Okay. And you and I visited as well about the paternal side, and you indicated that you didn't have a whole lot of information about that side of the family. And the court, for purposes of the court record, Your Honor, I did review a document, an extensive investigation that was performed by a private investigator by the name of Juan Lopez, who went through the lineage of the paternal side of the family. And it was determined that the father of Mr. Woodruff, William Reeder Woodruff, had one sister, and she passed in 2012 in Florida, and she left 3 children who were Eric Hansel, Raquel Hansel, and Christopher Schmidt. The report is quite extensive, Your Honor, and I would like the court to take judicial notice that I have reviewed that document for the appropriate heirs. They would be the first cousins of William E. Woodruff.
And are those 3 individuals alive or have they passed away, Ms. Clute?
They're alive, Your Honor. We
So-
found them because of Miss Hansel's probate in Florida, actually.
Okay. All righty. Anything, Mr. Beal?
You're muted.
You're muted again.
Nothing from Mr. Reed.
All right, call the next, you have any questions, Ms. Clute, of this witness?
No, Your Honor.
Call the next witness, Mr. Alvarado.
Your Honor, I would call Natalie Hightower.
Go ahead, she's been sworn.
Please state your name for the record.
Yes, I'm Natalie Marielle Hightower.
Ms. Hightower, your relation to William Woodruff, the subject of this matter?
He was my cousin.
He'd be your first cousin, correct?
First cousin, yes, my eldest first cousin on my mom's side.
And you heard the testimony of your father today regarding the heirs on your mother's side, correct?
Yes.
Are you in agreement with his testimony, or is there anything that he stated that you would contradict?
No, that's all accurate to my knowledge.
Okay, and as well, you did not have a close relationship with the paternal side of your cousin's family.
No, sir.
Okay, so do you feel confident that we have properly identified the heirs of your cousin William Woodruff this morning?
Yes, I do.
Your Honor, that's all I have with this witness.
What did you say, ma'am?
I said I'm in agreement with the work they've done.
Ms. Clute,
I don't have anything else, Your Honor.
Mr. Beal.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Clute, what are we gonna do with the administrator?
Kirby's the administrator?
Yeah,
Oh, so I was gonna, I was gonna ask, and Albert said they would probably prepare the paperwork. I'm happy to as well, just to sell the property.
We can dispose of the property now that the determination of heirship's done.
yeah, but in the order, I just have a judgment declaring heirship. This was filed within the time limit. So somewhere in the order, I would imagine the judgment is that the administrator, the administrator be kept in place, I guess.
I guess I didn't know that we needed to. I thought of them as 2 separate cases, so, because Kirby's still the administrator, we just were getting the determination here.
Okay.
And then, now that the uncle has moved out, it's made the sale of the house a lot less complicated.
All righty. So is the house in bad shape or what, Mr. Beal? If you know, you haven't been the administrator, but.
My understanding is that the house was livable because the uncle is living there.
Oh,
And we're ready and able to sell the property, Judge.
and he's in agreement, you stated.
Yes,
All right, so the court, after hearing testimony, finds that the heirs of Mr. William E. Woodruff have been identified and the appropriate order will be signed. How many hours, Mr. Alvarado?
Your Honor, in this particular case, I did spend additional time with that report, so I have 3 hours, Your Honor.
Item fees are set at 750, Ms. Clute.
Thank you.
All right, so I have the orders in front of me and I'm gonna sign them right now, Ms. Clute.
Thank you. Perfect. And we'll wrap this up, the case,
Yes.
the whole case.
Yeah, Mr. Bill, tell Mr. Kirby, let's wrap it up. Let's get that house as soon as possible on the
I
market.
think they've already gotten started on that, Judge.
Thank you very much. Everybody have a good day and happy holidays. Bye.
Happy holidays, Your Honor.
Christmas, Your Honor.
Thank you. Happy
Your Honor.